Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
Band from Ringside. Tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast, Kenny Omega makes his return to AEW television. We have a new number one challenger for Swerve Strickland's title. The worst week of television in WWE in a very long time. We're talking WWE Draft, that and your Backlash France predictions, and a whole bunch more tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast. Just getting it out of the way, man. WWE was. I'm gonna have a little. You know what? I'll save it.
Yeah, just save it.
Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Marks. Welcome to the Band from Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Howard Finkel de Mayo, and sitting directly across from me, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
To all the real beefers, please stand up and all be accounted for. And if you don't give a fuck about a bitch, then you're rolling with Big Bo. And on that lovely note, I'll ask the congregation to bow their heads as I read from the latest edition of the Band from Ringside podcast, volume 357. Chapter 3, verse 14, and the good smart saith, hashtag boo the heels. It's all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat, the holy trinity of BFR. I'm not going to shit on the WWE Draft. It's the WWE Draft, so I kept my expectations level, but the man's got thoughts, so we're going to listen to the thoughts at some point.
And to Jason's left and to my right, we have Vice, Bo Geisman. What's going on, Vice?
I think you guys know what I'm here to do. I'm wearing the belt. I brought snacks. We're hydrated. Let's do this thing.
Two Beer Zach Pullman is not with us tonight. He is solo dadding it up, which, you know what? I'm solo dadding it up, too. My wife is out of town. His wife's out of town. But guess what? I still showed up. So, Zach, that is a bunch of
unprofessional bullshit.
But also, how about these fucking taping chicks? They just leave them there. I mean, they really found a couple good ones, didn't they?
They are awfully trusting.
They just leave out of town and leave me and Zach to watch their children.
Don't burn up the house. Don't kill the kids. We'll be back in a couple of days. What the fuck?
But also some jet-setting broads, man. Keep your ass at home. Come on, ladies. What the fuck?
And then I show up with a bunch of snacks and pre-rolls, and it's like, come on.
Oh, we about to be hanging off the roof here in the next couple hours.
What do you expect to happen?
So listen, I don't like to be too negative right off the bat, but WWE has been very good for a very long time, and
Sure.
I have been on record as talking about how good WWE has been for a long time, and I just feel like, kind of feel like having a throwback kind of night, like back in the old days when wrestling sucked. And all we did was bitch for a long time. So I'm going to do some bitching tonight. I'm going to make fun of some people. I'm going to let it rip. That is the plan anyway because, well, the draft is, well, you know what? We'll talk about it. Let's get to that 3 count.
God damn, yeah, let's do this shit. I was about to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've got a full order of bill tonight with extra salt.
JCB, kick it off.
I was about to say, this motherfucker bad. I almost don't even want to talk about the draft, but fuck it, let's get it over with. Obviously, the 1 count, we're going to talk.
Give me the weed.
We're going to talk all things. I'm over like, somebody get that man some weed. It's the Chris, right? It's the Chris Rock, which concert it is. It's like somebody grab the balls. I'm playing with the ball. Somebody suck the dick while I'm grabbing the ball.
That's Bring the Pain, I think.
Yes.
Okay, that's what this was. When Susie said that, everybody started scrambling for their weed. Give him some weed, please.
If you would have asked for it right, you just would have got it.
WWE Draft is the highlight of WWE programming for the most part. The 1 count, like I said, obviously WWE Draft. We'll just kind of sprinkle shit here and there as we go along. Starts on SmackDown where Paul Heyman opens the show to say Roman Reigns is not going to be a part of the draft and he's going to be out indefinitely. No problem with that. I want him to pop back in whenever possible. Roman Rock same way. Obviously, he's going to pop back in at some point on SmackDown because obviously Cody Rhodes is his end game. So at some point, they'll both be back. Not even worry about that. Contract signing before the actual draft gets started. I think, honestly, this is, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is probably the only contract signing I can think of that ended civilly, where nobody got dropped, nobody went through a table, and that, I guess, kind of set the tone for kind of a blasé kind of episode. Go ahead. You're already making a face. Get it out your chest.
Roman is under contract. How can you declare yourself not on the draft? It's so fucking stupid. There are no rules. It's not clearly defined what the rules are. It's not a draft. They're already under contract. If they were just drafting NXT people, then that would be one thing. But they're drafting people that are already on the shows, and then they're like, Raw selects Drew McIntyre. Motherfucker, he's already on Raw. It doesn't make any sense. There's no fucking rules. There's 4 people per round, and they're taking NXT people instead of people that are already on the show. It makes no sense. Sami Zayn doesn't get fucking drafted. Bronson Reed doesn't get drafted. Chad Gable doesn't. Well, whatever. You know,
Chad Gable did drafted.
The point stands. I mean, Roman.
I wanted to let you roll until you start fucking up.
We say it every year how bad the draft sucks, and I'm going to reiterate it over and over again. That's all I got.
Okay.
I mean, the contract signing between Cody and AJ is fine. I'm going to tell you right now, it's my Stone Cold Lead Pipe Block of the week. I'm sure the match will be fine. Old fucking 3-star Cody out there.
Wow.
Having his mediocre-ass match.
Whoa. A2 Brute? Damn. This motherfucker has been a champ for what, a month?
I'm just trying to piss Joey off on the off chance that he listens to the podcast.
Like, damn.
He's on a date right now.
Okay, the car just wrecks. He's like, what the fuck? Let's just talk about the draft since
I'm just creating content tonight.
Go ahead with the
draft.
Bianca and Carmelo are the first 2 picks for SmackDown. Raw counters with Jey Uso and Seth Rollins. Bianca being the first overall pick, no problem with that. It doesn't really matter to me who the first overall pick is. It could be Roman, Rock, whatever. It's just to be putting people aside.
That's right, because it doesn't matter. They're all going to end up on one show or the other. The draft means nothing.
I'm not going to sit here and say that they're going to be on one show and intermingling shows. When it's time for them to do so for the big 4 events, then I expect to see some intermingling, especially when it's World Rumble and WrestleMania season. That just is what it is. Outside of that, I don't necessarily expect to see Bianca on Raw, more times than she absolutely has to be. It's a draft that is an imperfect way to shake it up, and that's what they did. They did it a little differently where, the champs are protected. I will agree with you that that's why Sami Zayn wasn't drafted, so there you go there. He's essentially drafted to Raw, so
okay.
He was basically stuck there. So in that scenario, I like that part.
Sure.
The physical draft itself, how they do it, is not necessarily good television. It doesn't make for good entertaining television. So in that part, it's kind of a slug.
I am fine with the stupidity of wrestling at most times, but when Adam Pearce comes out and he's like, we've been in the war room all day, it's like, motherfucker, you are making 4 picks tonight, and they're all on television every week. Like, what do you talk? What's there to fucking talk about? You have a lighter, please.
I was going to say, that I can't tell you, can't speak upon it intelligently. That is what it is. Carmelo Hayes comes out to confront Cody Rhodes. They're going to have a main event match. That's actually good for Carmelo. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio defeat Golgado del Fantasma. Both of those guys are separating to different shows. I think Golgado is staying on SmackDown, and LWO is going to Raw. It ultimately comes out, obviously, that Carlito turned on Dragon Lee last week, and which this didn't make any sense. When the
I thought this was the most interesting thing.
It became interesting on Monday when you see, at least for me, when I saw Ray and Dom across from each other. So that just means their paths are going to cross at some point in this next fiscal WWE calendar year, WrestleMania to WrestleMania. their paths are going to have to cross as soon as, hopefully, the sooner that Dom gets healthier, the better. So that way it just happens and we can, move along.
Can I ask you a question?
Shoot.
What is Carmelo Hayes' ceiling?
Because there are 2 world championships, I expect him to be a future world champion. Him and Braun Breaker. Now, who gets there first is, probably more of the question than anything else. But I don't see any reason, barring injury, I don't see any reason for either one of them not to be a world champion at some point.
Yeah, I think I agree. And I like the way that they've presented Carmelo Hayes on the main roster the last couple months. Like, they presented them like a big deal. Braun Breaker, too, but Braun Breaker's a little different. They're making Braun Breaker, he's just running through dudes. Carmelo Hayes, they're just trying to show how cool he is.
No.
And that is they're approaching it different ways. They're approaching it the right way.
On separate brands doesn't necessarily hurt either.
I'm not sure.
Excuse me.
I think that Braun Breaker has a brighter future than Carmelo Hayes.
Carmelo can work the stick, and that to me goes a long, long way in WWE.
Yeah. Wait, you're not saying that Braun Breaker can't carry the stick, are you?
I think if you put them against each other, and we've seen it in NXT, I give the advantage to Carmelo Hayes. From that point,
Breaker was working. I guess he worked. I guess they both worked heel and babyface against each other. Yeah, that's true.
So, for me, Carmelo, his biggest advantage and what WWE is more about, at least how they present the product, why fans ultimately like the product, is more about the character, the gimmick, whatever you want to call it. He's got to have that star quality, which they both do. They just have it in 2 different ways for me.
I'm not trying to take over your count, but
Take this motherfucker over.
There were 3 male NXT stars that were drafted. Is that correct? Carmelo, Dragunov, and Braun.
Essentially, yeah.
I mean, on television.
Braun. I thought Braun was already on SmackDown because Nick Aldis signed him, but whatever. I guess when you reset it, you just have to do it again. Okay, fair enough. That makes sense.
Okay, so Braun Breaker, Dragunov, and Carmelo Hayes, rank them in terms of who do you think has the brightest future on the main roster?
Ugh.
Who's going to have the best career
Damn.
in WWE? Dragunov, Breaker, or Hayes? 1, 2, 3.
Least to most, I'll go, and this is way tougher than it needs to be because I think all 3 are going to do great things. I'll go Dragunov, least likely, Carmelo in the middle, and Braun most likely. And Braun and Carmelo, to me, aren't that much. There won't be that much separation because, it's obviously at some point their paths will cross on the main roster. I think Triple H putting them on separate brands actually is a smart move, so that way you can kind of build them up separately, and then when it's time for them to actually face, you'll have the NXT diehards that already know about them. You'll build the WWE main roster base up with them, and then you'd have a much bigger match.
I think I have it the exact same ranking as you do, except I have 2 and 3 closer than 1 and 2. I think Dragunov is going to be a massive star.
I can't say I disagree with that. Putting him on Raw automatically
He's on the same with Walter or Gunther.
There you go. So at that point, it's one of those things where once again, their paths are going to cross. And it's not like Dragunov is a bad talent by any stretch of the imagination. But once again, to me, the difference between Dragunov and Carmelo can talk. Dragunov can't. I shouldn't say can't, but is not as good.
It's not his character.
I'm not saying it is.
I mean, they had him in skits and shit against Tony D'Angelo.
Look, totally agree with you on that. And Lyra Valkyria, okay, that's one of my worries about coming to the main roster. Her NXT, I won't even say the run. We can talk about that separately if you want to. I'm worried about will that character play on the main roster?
Were you surprised at the Kiana James jumping?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was too.
Yeah.
I feel like there was another one that was drafted. Another man. Did Von Wagner get released?
Von Wagner.
R.I.P.
Jeez, man. They had that guy pour out his soul, and they were like, see ya.
Man, look.
Rest in pension.
For me, it never really resonated. I always thought he should have been a heel and stayed in the heel form. Hooking up with Robert Stone kind of was what it was, but it just never really.
When you say it was what it was, you mean it was weird.
Well, you said it. I'm just here to kind of report on it.
Dijak is on Raw?
Dijak is on Raw, so that's probably somebody else you're thinking about. Yeah, I'd say I can't think of anybody else. Pretty Deadly, same thing. Bronson Reed, DIY. Blair Davenport, obviously, on the women's side.
That's a little surprising, but it makes sense.
Yeah, just for the simple fact of how they closed the book on her. Obviously, she put Sol Ruka over, but I almost felt like this. Is it too early for her? I don't know. I think she should be on the main roster, but just the way.
Blair Davenport?
Yeah, for sure. I think she's a main roster talent.
I do too.
It's just the way her NXT run was a little weird. You know, her losing to Lyra Valkyria wasn't a huge surprise, but then, you know, it was just like she was in this weird little, just weird place, just not really being booked well, and now she's putting people over on the way
Testaments on Raw.
They should just be on NXT. That's just that's just a bad move. All the way around. There's not a good place on the main roster for any of those guys. And the sad part about it is, Authors of Pain are one of those guys. But the bad part about it is, they don't care about tag team wrestling on the main roster the way they should. Because they got a bunch of really good tag teams, and they're just not using them for whatever reason.
Patrick Mahomes shows up on Raw as a heel in Kansas City. What the fuck are they thinking?
Supposedly, from what I read, this wasn't the WWE call. This was the Prime call that they wanted Patrick Mahomes and Logan Paul to work together in that segment. Why that is, I'm not 100% sure, but that wasn't.
But why'd they want Patrick Mahomes to be cool with Logan Paul? Because it was a Logan Paul thing and not a WWE thing?
I'm sure money might have something to do with it, Bo. I won't discount that. I think that it's just the fact that it's Logan Paul, it's his brand, and they wanted to have Patrick Mahomes and Logan Paul be in this little symbiotic.
Patrick Mahomes, take a bump.
He ain't taking no bump. You out your mind? Hell no.
Take a back bump, dude.
Shit. I'm saying, let Patrick Mahomes.
One of the best athletes in the world can't take a back bump.
Hey, if Bill can take a slap, he can take a bump.
That's exactly right.
I'm not saying that
Thank
he
you.
couldn't.
That's a really good point.
And Bill took, and you know what? Bill took two.
I took two.
I'm not saying he couldn't.
Two varieties.
I'm just saying.
Just saying.
I'm just saying that.
Tell me
God forbid if this fool took a back bump and hurt something. As a Steelers fan, I would be immediately giddy because that means he's going to be a little banged up going into the season, and hopefully that lingers. But that would just be stupid.
He should have come out in a frog costume, taking a pop-up powerbomb from KO, and have KO rip off the head like fucking Pete Rose in The Chicken and Kane, and have it be Patrick Mahomes. Now that would have popped me. That would have been unbelievable.
You ain't shit.
The internet would have exploded.
It kind of did while you bullshitting.
You're like, yeah, Logan Paul.
Yeah, in Kansas City.
Yeah, okay. Look, I ain't
saying
saying
Super Bowl, guys.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. There was a different way that it could have been done. For me, you just could have left him off, and it would have been all good on that aspect as well. Really, the draft is, I can't really see. Orton goes, I'll just run down the list and just be done with it, so that way I'll feel better about it. Orton to SmackDown, Nia Jax to SmackDown, Liv Morgan and Braun Breaker go to Raw. LA Knight, Bloodline to SmackDown, Ricochet, Sheamus to Raw, AJ, Andrade, SmackDown, Alpha Academy, Kiana James goes to Raw. That ends the SmackDown portion of the draft. On Raw, Raw drafts first, Imperium and Damage Control on the Raw side. On the SmackDown side, Jade Cargill, KO. Raw gets...
Giovanni Vinci is no longer in Imperium.
No, but he did get drafted, and I can't remember which brand he got drafted to. I think it was SmackDown.
Who has a brighter future, Vinci or Carmelo Hayes?
The fuck? Nigga, sit your ass. I'm not even going to dignify that more than what I just said. CM Punk and Braun Strowman, good place to stop on Raw. Okay, so obviously they snuck Braun Strowman. They didn't sneak Braun Strowman in, but they announced Braun Strowman. They snuck Eric Rowan in. We've been getting these little bits and pieces of some sort of angle coming up. Probably Uncle Howdy coming back and Alexa Bliss possibly on deck. Rank your interest 1 to 10 of this possible Wyatt 6 Uncle Howdy angle that's obviously coming up.
My interest?
Yes.
9. I mean, it's going to be it's going to fall flat on its face, or it's going to be really good. I think there's less of a chance of it just being kind of good. Like it's
all or nothing.
It's all that's how I think it's going to be. I think that it could be really cool. Obviously, if Bo Dallas is coming back to lead it, him being the brother of the late Bray Wyatt, who passed away last year suddenly with like a heart COVID thing, was 36 years old, big star. If Bo Dallas comes back to lead his stable, then, that doesn't rub me the wrong way or anything. Like they're trying to take advantage of his death. I think it's really like they're going to do it the right way. They're going to honor him. Now, if you honor Bray Wyatt and are as good as Bray Wyatt was, a lot of it's going to suck. But I think that their heart's going to be in the right place.
God damn, you ain't shit. You all one like a motherfucker.
Dude, he's so happy with himself, he's giggling. He calls us the Giggle Twins, but it's the Giggle Son.
I was about to say,
but some of it
somewhere
could
Diamond
be
Dallas'
cool.
face is like, you can't be doing no self-high-five without giving me some money first.
So my interest in it is so high because if it falls flat on its face, that's going to be really interesting also. Because I want to see how they do it.
I am curious to see.
What's your interest level?
4. I wasn't really a big Uncle Howdy fan before Bray Wyatt passed. I never really
but it's the real life stuff. I mean, Bray died. This is his brother.
I get that. But this is still a stretch for me, even as a wrestling fan. You're asking me to really start to suspend disbelief and accept what this group can possibly do. Okay.
Why will that suspend disbelief? Because Bray was the magic one? Are you talking kayfabe style?
Kayfabe style. Yeah, actually, in kayfabe, Bray did have.
So, do you want to see how magical they are, or if Bray was the only one with magic? I really want to. I want to drill down into what we're saying.
There is going to be, at least in my opinion, some sort of supernatural element to this faction.
That's the part I'm talking about. That's going to suck.
Okay. Now, how far this rabbit hole goes, I don't know. I don't want to see this, delve into, a cult is about where this group should be.
Is Bo Dallas's name going to be Uncle Howdy? Is that going to be the name of his character?
I don't know.
Are they going to even acknowledge that Bo Dallas was ever a thing?
I would think that you probably.
Because I could see them not
doing it. Yeah, I was going to say that's a different quote unquote universe, for a lack of a better term, and I think we're wiping the slate clean and starting fresh with Uncle Howdy as the foundation of it, and you're growing from there. And if you remember, Uncle Howdy was kind of fucking with Bray at some point, where it almost felt like
No, I don't remember.
He had some sort of, mind control, like Debo had mind control over the motherfuckers in the hood. Uncle Howdy had some sort of mind control over Bray at certain points. At least it felt like to me, if I remember it right.
I mean, I really don't care about this.
Okay, so see, that's what I'm saying.
God, I'm just now remembering how much I hate
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm tepid about this shit. I'm like, I'll go this far. If Triple H can make me invest into this shit and make me like it, man, that motherfucker chef for real. Because this is the ultimate litmus test for me. This is an angle that I have very little interest in, that I don't really care about. You keep throwing it at me, so I know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. So, get me invested in this. Shit, that motherfucker is chef for real.
All right, what else we got?
You ain't shit. Just finishing up draft-wise, LWO, Drew McIntyre goes to Raw. Legado del Fantasma and Shinsuke go to SmackDown. I hope Shinsuke gets hot again as a heel. That was really fun to watch.
Nope.
I said I hope. I said I hope, motherfucker. Damn.
Raw. Is there a push for Shinsuke?
Nope. Raw gets Judgment Day and Ilya Dragunov. SmackDown counters with Piper Niven and Chelsea Green and Naomi. Never mind. I'm not even going to touch that one. Raw gets New Day and Lyra Valkyria, previous mentioned. SmackDown gets Pretty Deadly and Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. And then finish up the draft. Final Testament and Bronson Reed go to Raw. DIY, Brer Davenport go to SmackDown. So ultimately, this was just a draft that took up a bunch of time. You didn't see a lot of really other.
The NXT things were the only interesting parts.
To me, that was because apparently that was surprises. They didn't know they were going to get drafted.
TV, and they should get it gone.
Didn't like Bronson Reed versus Sami Zayn on Raw?
Yeah, that was good. I'm talking about the draft.
Oh, shit, you ain't shit.
I'm talking about the draft in general.
Okay, well, then let's
I like how Sammy attacked, what's-his-face backstage, Gable backstage. Sammy's not going to take that shit lying down.
But then,
fuck you, Gable.
But Gable got his, get back, not moments later. But
yeah, but Sammy just walked up to Gable in the back and just fucking clocked him.
Oh, I was the shit. Yeah, I'm down for that. You can't be jumping me in front of,
It wasn't a beatdown. He just fucking clocked him.
Yeah, I was about to say, look, but that's what a babyface is going to do when at least it feels like
isn't a bitch.
Well, in this case, clearly the babyface ain't no bitch.
That's right.
I know punk bitch. You punk bitch.
You punk bitch. The kick in the back was perfect. It was one shot, dropped him. Fair enough. Chad Gable coming out to get his revenge. Plus the fact he was running down Tozawa, Otis and Maxine backstage again. It's just, to me, this is, Team Angle 2024, brewing up all over again.
I don't think Alpha Academy is long for this world. I think Gable's going to grab. I still think Gable's going to grab the other two.
Yeah, the Creeds for sure.
You can't. I mean, listen, I love what Gable's doing because I'm such an Angle Attitude Era mark. Gable is just doing Angle. He's not quite as funny, but he's pretty funny. But Angle had Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, Otis and Tozawa are nice, but that's not an identity. Like, if they really want to push Gable, they need to give him the Creeds. It's so obvious. Just give him the Creeds and let him be like a new Team Angle. Just call him Team Gable.
I think that's, I'm not going as far as to say they're going to be called Team Gable, but I think everything you said is on the horizon. It's just they're taking their time getting to that point.
Team Angle versus Team Gable, WrestleMania 41.
I was going to say Survivor Series, but, what else?
Did Charlie Haas still wrestle?
I think he wrestled
You'd never hear about him.
I think he wrestled like a couple years ago. It feels right. He was like on the Impact. Yeah, he was on the Impact like 2 years ago.
He must have pissed somebody off.
I don't know about all that, but
you just never hear about him.
You don't.
He was a badass.
Maybe he's just content and just riding off into the sunset. Shelton Benjamin, I just saw it. He's getting ready to wrestle somewhere. It's recent. I just saw this recently. And I just can't remember where it was, but he's getting ready to pop back on the scene for a little bit. So good for Shelton. But ultimately, I just think that it's going to be a Team Gable kind of deal. It's just, we're slowly getting to the point where Chad just, enough's enough. You motherfuckers got to go. The creeds are in. How we get to that point, how we do the switch, that's what I'm waiting for.
All right. Anything else?
Match-wise, that we talked about Melo and Cody. Did we talk about Cody and Melo as a main event? I thought it was really good. It was a nice showcase for Carmelo, even though he takes the L, which was clearly that he was going to take the L. Cody did bang up the shoulder, something to look forward to. If this is going to be a long-running title reign for Cody, which I expect it should be, that shoulder should be something that moves forward with him as long as he is champion. That should be walking with him as a lingering injury going forward. Main event on Raw was a tad interesting just for the fact that it sets up Backlash, where you had Judgment Day versus Jey Uso. I was getting ready to say Jimmy, but that's not right. Jey Uso, Ricochet, and Andrade. Jey gets the pin on, I believe it was JD McDonough. Clearly, Judgment Day not on the same page. Damian Priest feels like he's, clearly separating himself from the rest of the group. That should bring, knock on wood, a Finn Balor, Damian Priest title match somewhere down the line, ultimately kicking him out of Judgment Day. So both main events, kind of led forward to Backlash, but unfortunately, like you said, the draft was the meat and potatoes of WWE program.
I wish I had a drop that was just like...
You could have just did that.
Yep, okay, I'm good. Let's move that 2 count.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, there has been...
Just not a fan of Mahomes. I'm cool with that.
Did you see his face? It was all messed up. It was hilarious.
Yeah. I'm Patrick Mahomes.
Stop.
I gave my rings to Logan Paul. He punched JD.
Okay, there was a lot of AEW television since we've last had the podcast.
I mean, damn.
Really, it's just one more hour than usual. But I'm going to do the broad strokes. So we finally get the Swerve coronation, as it were, of his as champion. It happened on Collision. I don't know why Tony is doing this, but it seems like he's trying to make Collision the main show or something. I don't know. But Swerve comes out, cuts a promo. I think it was kind of like an open challenge. I'm sorry, I didn't expect this to be my count, and I barely remember what happened.
Essentially, yeah, he was like, I'm going to be a fighting champion, so on that vein, I'm throwing it out there.
Claudio
whoever
comes
wants
out,
some can come get some.
Claudio, jobber to the stars, is his job.
Damn, dog.
That's what he is.
Former ROH champion. Now, granted, I thought this to myself. I was like, damn, it's been a while since he was the ROH champion, and I have to remind myself of that shit the same way I do, like Wargo being the TNT champion, Powerhouse Hobbs, yada, yada, yada. But put some respect on that motherfucker's name, dog.
Claudio?
Yeah.
I fucking love Claudio. I wish they did more with him. They just have him in these throwaway good matches where he gets beat all the time.
Don't. Don't encourage this motherfucker.
Jobber to the stars.
Just tell him when he's telling lies.
Bang Bang Gang versus Top Flight and Action Andretti. Phoenix versus Mordos. Phoenix makes his return. What do you think about Phoenix? Are you happy to have him back?
Well, obviously, this just makes their roster just that much deeper. You can bring back Death Triangle at some point if you want to run that back, or just Lucha Brothers in general to revive the tag team scene. Black Taurus, if you don't watch Impact Wrestling. What was his name here?
Mortos.
Okay, Mortos is essentially Black Taurus from Impact Wrestling. So if you haven't seen him in Impact Wrestling, this was your chance to get a good look at him.
You know what? I just learned something. I did not know that was Black Taurus.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say the mask was at least the first start where I was like,
But I
we
mean,
know
not,
this motherfucker.
yeah, okay, all right, cool.
But no, it ended up turning out to be a really solid lucha kind of match where, once again, Rey Fenix defies gravity and logic and does all kinds of just ridiculous shit where you have him against the obvious bigger foe, where I think that's just Rey Fenix's sweet spot. Anybody that's bigger than him, he can just play off that so well, and he did it here and gets the win. It's good to have him back.
Yeah, I love Phoenix. I was always of the opinion that Phoenix was my guy more than Penta, so I'm glad to have him back.
Penta carries some weight now.
Man,
they say now, if you want to talk about jobber to the stars, that's more Penta than anybody else.
No, hey, you're not going to get my argument with that. I mean, same thing with Phoenix. I was getting ready to go on the Phoenix thing, and then I forgot. I was getting ready to talk about, now he gets to come out and have really good matches and never win, just like fucking Penta, just like fucking Claudio. The thing is that AEW, and this is a fundamental problem with AEW, is that they have a lot of guys that go out there and have great matches that always, so they're the great match company, right?
Right.
But they're still, you always know who's going to win. They are not good at giving guys losses and wins, and, those are guys that should all be winning big matches and losing big matches. When you talk about Claudio, Penta, Phoenix, and you talk about some of the guys that win, like Swerve before this, Hangman, people like that. They should all be trading.
I'm not going to disagree with the fact that the logic of they should be trading. I'll just say that when Tony builds, he builds them strong quickly, and then when it's over, that's where I think you start to have problems. Eddie Kingston, I think, is the one of the guys that I was just thinking about the other day, where it was just December when he became Continental Champion. He won the tournament, beat basically all the demons on the way to do so. Great fucking story. And now all of a sudden he's down to one title. He doesn't feel nearly as big as he did at one point.
That's a guy that sucked up all the wins. Kingston and Moxley never lose. Bryan loses all the time.
Okay, that's completely fair, but Daniel Bryanson is in Bryan Danielson is in a different just realm in comparison to.
Yeah, but he goes
Eddie
out and has
Kingston.
a lot of good matches, and he loses all the big ones. I'm just saying, there's all these losses. They have all these guys that lose all the time.
I'm not disagreeing.
I don't know how it happens.
Look, I've been banging the Shane Taylor fucking drum for the last, month or so. This dude is
another
as big
guy
as a
that
house.
always loses.
And you can't, when they consistently lose,
Orange
and
Cassidy
they come
never
out,
loses. Sting never lost. Darby never loses.
No, Darby does lose. I won't sit up there. I'll give you Sting, Orange, Moxley,
MJF
all
didn't
locks.
lose forever. I mean, I know he had the belt, but he had the belt for a really fucking long time.
Yeah, because they were trying to wait out that Adam Cole baby injury, and that kind of drugged. We were still waiting.
My point stands.
Look, I'm not disagreeing with your point. I'm just saying that it's not all predictable. Just a Dynasty, you had Edge get sprayed by the mist from Malachi Black. Not a lot of people saw that shit coming. I'm pretty sure I heard, you guys go, oh, when that shit happens. So, I mean, let's not sit here and say it's that predictable. Is it predictable? Yeah. But WWE's predictable that in the same vein, too. So,
Yeah, but WWE doesn't have as good matches is what I'm saying. If you're going to be the match guys, because I'm starting to get overdosed on good matches. You got to give me a little bit of intrigue, too, about who's going to win. If they're all predictable, then,
I can't say I disagree with that. I'm just saying.
This is a real nerd point to make, but, I mean, I believe it strongly.
No, by all means, knock yourself out. It's kind of like my tag team argument. You know what I'm saying? So in that scenario, knock yourself out. Say it with your chest. For me, like I said, this is not as predictable as you make it seem to be. in this scenario for AEW this week, yeah, this is pretty predictable. You knew what was getting ready to happen, but we're building towards Double or Nothing. So in that scenario, you just gotta have to kind of let it play itself out.
I'll tell you what, we are all better on predictions for the AEW than we are for WWE. So therefore, it's more predictable.
Go ahead, Bo.
I think what Bill's trying to say here, he just wants peaks and valleys.
I want peaks and valleys. The universe loves balance.
He doesn't want to plateau.
All the wins are on on some guys, and all the losses are on other guys. That's all I'm saying.
I can't say I disagree.
Welcome back, Phoenix.
That was a tangent for your ass.
Roosh is back. He beats up a jobber. String Adib cuts a promo from the walk-in.
Shit. No, I mean, come on, man. Goddamn. This girl can wrestle. She's got talent. Your ass got
I don't know why I'm so mean to her. I do like her.
As soon as I saw her on TV, I started shaking my head. I was like, I was getting ready to say, I don't know what the fuck Bill's going to say about this poor woman, but he going to have something smart ass to say. If show is shit, your ass lives up to expectations. Damn, you ain't shit.
Grizzled young veterans are back. They are jobbers to the Acclaimed.
It's good. I hate this.
Fucking Acclaimed.
No. First and foremost, it was time for the Acclaim to get back on to the WWE, the AEW tag team scene. Long overdue. My ass. Their trios run was hot
NXT.
garbage.
That's an NXT fucking act.
You are out.
That's like a couple dudes
mind.
fresh out of school. That's their act. That's what they come out doing.
No, please. They were at one point the most over act in all of the company. And you can't even deny that. You can't.
No, I'm not trying to.
So now all of a sudden, they cooled them off.
I'm talking about personally. I am just way off them. I do not like them.
Completely fair. Okay? Knock yourself
I'll
out.
tell you what, Max Caster ruined himself with that MJF shit. That was so stupid. It just makes him look so defined down. He is such a little punk little bitch. I hate his character. I hate how he calls people twinks. It's like so stupid. What a dork.
I won't deny that the MJF angle was a little.
Didn't even make any sense. It's all inside baseball
fanboy.
shit.
No, it was him. It was him being fanboy.
I don't want to sound like one of the boys in the back or anything. So
shit.
apologies to Eddie Kingston. But it's that
you
type.
ready to cock up his leg again.
It's that type of shit. It's that type of shit that CM Punk was talking about. It's like, are they trying to draw money? Or are they trying to be cool to the internet crowd? That's what it is. I mean, when CM Punk said that, I was like, oh fuck! I immediately thought of Max Caster, and I was like, what a fucking like. That's just so stupid.
I would, without really trying to rack my brain about it, I'm sure WWE, John Cena did this when he came out.
He definitely did, which
Okay.
is also why, I hate to do it, but it's also why CM Punk said in the Pipe Bomb promo, this company will continue to make money in spite of itself. And they did for a long fucking time.
Agreed. No question about it. So, I mean, I'm just saying that it's not just...
No, WWE has definitely
one
done.
side.
I mean, Vince used to do inside jokes that were just for him, basically. I mean, that's not. I'm not even joking.
No,
like, he actually did.
No question about it. It was basically, for these guys were his fodder. Tony Khan.
But WWE can afford it.
Okay, I'm not.
The Acclaimed, if they were that over then they should still be at least a little over now. They're not
think they
over.
still are.
No, they're not.
I think they still are.
How can you cool off that bad when you're still on TV every week?
Because
were on
you're
TV
in angles
every.
that nobody gives a fuck about.
Well, then make it work.
How you gonna make it work when Tony Khan's over here just putting them?
You think Tony Khan? You think the whole Bang Bang Scissor Gang thing? You don't think they had anything to do with it? They were all clowning. It was Billy Gunn having fun with his kids.
And that's
everybody's fucking Make-A-Wish. And then Jay White standing there in the same fucking angle, cooled down completely. One of the best wrestlers in the fucking world.
Then that's on Tony Khan to say, hey, fellas,
No shit.
you know what? Maybe we shouldn't run with this. maybe we should just, do this the way I want to do it.
They were still on television, and they cooled off before the Bang Bang Scissor Gang.
Nah.
Yeah, they sucked before that.
I can't say I agree with that.
If you can cool off, then they really caught lightning in the bottle when they got hot, because it did come out of nowhere. It was really big for about a month, and now they are fucking below everybody in my mind. They're below fucking Top Flight.
Stop.
They're below Idris and Nofe and that dude on NXT and the other dude on
Malik
NXT.
Blade, man.
Malik Blade.
Know your black people, goddammit.
They're beneath them.
Now you're getting out of hand, motherfucker. Okay.
That's some Malik Blade fucking slander, too. My bad, dude. I'm actually a fan. Can't believe I couldn't remember. My bad.
Yeah, I was getting ready
I
to
always
say.
write EE and MB.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say.
I lost it for a second, Malik.
Know your black people, goddamn. If you're gonna start slandering us, goddamn, then at least do us the justice and getting us right.
I'll tell you what, Malik, that's the coolest black name there is. There's no question. Malik is a cool name, dude. Malik, baby.
You ain't shit, motherfucker. Move along, goddamn.
Wait till Aaron gets home.
Move along, please.
I want to name a kid Malik.
Okay, see, Horny Thursday's back.
Big time.
I'm talking about procreating, man. That's what God intended. Between married people.
I'm sorry that, I like to, do procreation.
We ain't
for
married in the
non-married
church,
ways.
though, you know what I mean?
Holla!
I was there. but not in the Moxa chair.
Jason was invited. He had to work, I remember.
Yeah. I was off for like shit months at that point. I hadn't worked for a hot minute.
We could have used you there.
Yeah,
we had a good time.
One more black person.
Yes.
Like to make it what, 2?
Yeah. What? No.
We just gotta even out the average.
No, there was like 4. It's a lot of family.
Well, and Bill just
We
counted.
invited 190 people that were related to us.
Holy shit!
None of them. Well, one of them is.
Bill's just counting the people that he knows made mixtapes.
I mean, that is basically what I'm doing. That's anyway. Malik Blade, my bad. Anyway, the Acclaim suck. Then we have the Swerve and Claudio match. We already talked about it. How much fucking?
I was about to say, just for a match that they kind of slapped together, I thought this was a really, really solid match. It just,
Yes, of course.
it reinforces Swerve as world champion. Granted, it took Claudio to help him get him over to do so. Not a huge fan of that, but nonetheless, I thought this was a really solid main event.
Chuck Taylor fights Trent Beretta in a parking lot match. We found out on Dynamite that this... What?
These motherfuckers got after each other. I was like, oh, shit.
We found out on Dynamite, and I don't know if this is a shoot, that Chuck Taylor would never wrestle again. I know that he was really hurt. Is he actually done?
I think this is the way to write him off, because if I'm not mistaken, the week before they were like, Chuck Taylor was like, they're not going to let me wrestle in the ring, so we're going to do a parking lot match. So this is the way to basically write him off. Now you got Orange Cassidy mad. Trent gets the heat. And Chris Statlander just always seems to be around trouble. Well, yeah, that too. Always seems to be around trouble, but not really making trouble. You know what I'm saying? She's in the middle of some shit all the fucking time, but never really causing shit. If this is a slow heel turn, then I'll give them credit, because they're at least, not giving it away. They're just dropping a nugget here, a nugget there, and now if it does happen, when it'll be much more of like, oh shit, damn, it's much more a surprise.
Don Callis, they should have Don Callis backstage watching this match carefully. He was stroking his chin. We can jump at the Dynamite real fast to discuss this, because Don Callis, when Orange Cassidy comes out to cut a promo about how Chuck Taylor's done, about how Trent Beretta ended them. Trent Beretta came out, Orange Cassidy charges him, and then Don Callis comes out and says something to Orange Cassidy and talks Orange Cassidy away. So this was an interesting development that I raised my eyebrows at. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Then there's no way that Orange Cassidy's turning heel, of course. No. So is Don Callis just playing the long game, and is Trent Beretta going to join the Don Callis family?
Unfortunately, with Powerhouse Hobbs being hurt legitimately and apparently going to be out for a long time, that opens up a spot in the Don Callis family. Unfortunately, once again, in my world of worlds, this would have already happened. You'd have had Powerhouse Hobbs, and now they kind of look a little more formidable, not a top-tier stable, but, they got more numbers. Maybe you could do something with that.
How about a Beretta-Takeshita tag team?
Honestly, I'm going to be greedy about this. I'm going to just say politely, hell no. Takeshita's bigger than that at this point. The fact that we're feeding him to Moxley, and I had a big-ass argument about this the other night. I know the match is going to be great, but ultimately this goes back to your point about the predictability of matches. Moxley's not going to drop the title before he goes over to New Japan and defends it against Ren Narita, and then the winner gets Shota Umino. That's probably going to be Moxley again. So in that scenario, just back to Takeshita, I think, is a special talent that is getting lost in the sauce, where now he can't be AEW champion, can't be IWGP champion, probably should have been Continental champion, but now Okada's got it. So now what do you do with Takeshita? You can't let this guy just sit on the sidelines and cool the fuck off like he has.
What about a Beretta Fletcher tag team? Or as I like to call him, Beretcher.
Honestly, I want to see Trent Beretta on his own for a little bit. Nah, man, I want to see Trent Beretta on his own. He's done the tag team thing. I'm wearing the Shawn Michaels shirt, and this is a great example of a guy that you allowed him to get his chance to go on alone separately away from Marty Jannetty, and then now you have a Hall of Fame career. I'm not saying that Trent Beretta is going to have a Hall of Fame career, but you got enough tag teams. Let him roll the dice and see if he can get over by himself.
Thunder Rosa goes over Deonna Purrazzo. Are they turning Deonna Purrazzo heel? They're doing something with her.
Shit, yeah, they'll say heels attack motherfuckers after the match from behind. I said this a while ago. She is a heel. She was a heel in Impact, and they kind of made her into a babyface when she came over to AEW, and I knew right there that was not working, at least for me. So now this is her natural character. So now we're going to probably see, knock on wood, the better Deonna Purrazzo character-wise. She's always good in the ring. So now, hopefully, this means a push for Deonna Purrazzo.
Big Bill beats up a jobber. Keeps telling Jericho to look at him.
Is he fucking Liv Morgan in this motherfucker? God damn. Get the fuck out of here. Stupid ass shit.
Watch me, Chris.
Yeah, watch me. I want to be under the learning tree. He is the fucking learning tree. How you sitting under the learning tree? You big as the fucking tree itself.
Jericho called him the Big Redwood on Dynamite.
Oh, God. I'm just like, dude, I'm done.
Big Bill looked at the camera. He's like, ooh. Like,
he's like,
I like that.
No.
I'm calling him the Big Redwood now.
I'm sure you will.
I bet they start calling. I bet that's what Jericho calls him. When Jericho says stuff like that, it's intentional.
Oh, for sure.
He's like, this is his new name.
Yeah, for sure. The Big Redwood, Big Bill.
Speaking of your boys, Shane Taylor Productions, they get beat by Shibata and Daniel Garcia in the main. What was this? Was this Rampage? Was Rampage on after Collision? Is that what happened here?
Yeah, because they did it for.
That's how I wrote it down. But.
Yeah, it was basically back-to-back shows. NBA preempted or whatever, so they did it whatever it was Saturday night instead of Friday. But
now
yeah.
Daniel Garcia is a guy that wins and loses.
Yes, for sure.
But anyway, yeah, I'd like watching all these guys wrestle. You talked me into Shane Taylor. Like I'm down with him. So I hope to see him start getting some wins. He certainly gets a lot of TV time.
I was getting ready to say he's putting a gang of motherfuckers over.
Yeah. And then we get to Dynamite, which opens up with Tony Khan from Jacksonville saying he's not allowed to travel because of his neck, which is the stupidest fucking. It's so funny.
I'm I'm watching this shit like
that's some old school wrestling stuff. I can't travel because my neck is hurt.
I'm like, nigga, you can't travel. My ass, motherfucker. Get in a car like everybody else used to do. Drive your ass over there.
The Young Bucks, kind of, the feed cuts out. The Young Bucks are there, and they're like, we're in control now, which plays into the opening segment, which was Swerve cutting his promo. And this was kind of weird because they were just going to name who his number one contender was. They didn't say why. There was no tournament. There was no match. They were just going to name his number one contender, which I was like, what the fuck? Christian comes out. I have mixed feelings about this, but they lean towards the good. This match is going to be good.
Check.
This build has a chance to be really memorable.
Check.
Christian
the promos themselves should be worth the.
Christian is so funny. And this character is so defined, and he knows how to play it so well. And he didn't say anything about Swerve's dad. He did say something about Swerve's. So they announced Christian, and he comes out with Wayne and
Kill
Switch, and they put Swerve and Nana down. And he doesn't say anything about Swerve's dad, but he does say something about Swerve's kid. And he says, "When I'm done with you, your child will finally have a father that she respects," intimating that he is going to be his daughter's new father. So what do you think about Christian being the number one contender?
A bit of a surprise, but then when, like you said, when Christian put down Swerve, he said why. We were in a tag team. We lost this tag team match over in Wembley. Okay, boom. I can't remember what the first reason was, but he broke it down to where, this is why I'm coming after you. I'm basically pissed, and now you're the AEW champion. Perfect time for me, to give you this receipt. So in that scenario, they connected the dots to where it made sense for Christian to at least be challenger for Swerve. Being the first challenger probably means that Swerve's going to retain. No problem with that. But the build itself should be good because Christian is going to be entertaining all the way through, and then you'll have a good match to capitulate it on.
Yeah, and they have 3 weeks of it,
more than enough time.
Yeah, it'll be good. Edge comes out. He's going to fight somebody from House of Black. Tony Schiavone gave it away on Collision. They acted like it was going to be a surprise, but it wasn't. It was Edge versus Buddy Matthews, who go 22 minutes or something like that in this match, a very long match in which Edge dominated the first 10 or 11 minutes. Killer match, though. Really fun to see Edge out there at this age doing it. He can be in long matches and make them interesting. This definitely was interesting. A match that there was never any doubt about who was going to win, but
Agreed.
Still very much worth your time watching.
No, Buddy Matthews is a talent, and this is, the theme of AEW, as far as I'm concerned. It's just, what do you do with Buddy Matthews? What do you do with Brody King? What do you do with Malachi Black? They've done the trios thing, the tag team thing maybe would be something you could do down the line, but, there's just so much fucking talent in AEW, and now, Buddy Matthews is one of those guys that could be used strongly in the mid card. I could see him be, a strong TNT champion. You just knew it wasn't going to happen here, right? So you did the next best thing. It gives us at least for me, you gave us the best match you can possibly give with the predictable finish. Fair enough.
And then Malachi Black comes out, tells Edge to hit Buddy Matthews with the chair. Edge turns to hit Malachi Black with it. The lights go out, and when they come back on, Buddy Matthews and Malachi Black are both gone.
Shit, nigga, that was the most interesting part of it.
Because they are magic.
Buddy Matthews was asking for it.
Oh yeah, He's like, come on, yeah. Okay, now I don't know. Well, finish your thought, and then I'll go. Because you're about still magic. That's it.
Yeah, they're magic.
Okay, so are we talking about the same magic that could possibly happen with Bray Wyatt? Well, not Bray Wyatt, but
yes.
Okay, so this is
their magic.
Okay, so this is my thought on that. That's where I'm okay with the line. Right there, we draw the line because God forbid, because it just pains me to say his name. Taker did that shit at Mania and done that shit for 20 years before that. Okay, fair enough, motherfucker. I'll let this shit slide. House of Black, fair enough, motherfucker. I'll let that shit slide. It's when you start like putting cockroaches and using.
I forgot. I wasn't even thinking about that.
When you manipulate.
I was thinking about the Fiend shit. I forgot about the cockroach. What was that called? Like a spooky match or something?
Oh, shit. And there was a WrestleMania match, too. It was like the House of Horrors or some bullshit. I was like, Jesus Christ. I was just like, this is the worst fucking match ever. And that was probably one of the reasons why I started disliking Bray Wyatt.
If we ever do one of those YouTube videos for Banged Up again, it would be really fun to watch that.
Well, nobody's saying anything. It's like, dude, what the fuck is this? But ultimately, I guess that's where my point is that some things supernatural for me can work. Other shit, when you take it 2 steps too far, don't work. House of Black is still okay in my mind. Even with the mist, that's on the border, but it's still okay. It serves a purpose. It didn't serve the same purpose it did, when it first happened, because when you got misted, you were fucked up.
They're fucking
and you were
bikers.
Turning heel.
They're fucking bikers.
Look.
That's their character. They're bikers. They're magic bikers. They just got off their fucking motorcycles, and they're just fucking magic bikers.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Can you imagine Hell's Angels actually being from hell?
Yeah. Except they use all their powers for professional wrestling,
right?
For backflips and backflips.
the magic bikers.
We take it over AEW from fucking Hell's Angels. That's great. Okay.
Moving on, we had Joe versus Isaiah Cassidy. Isaiah Cassidy made me laugh in this match. I like when he put on Joe's towel. That made me laugh.
That's all I got on that one too, because no rhyme or reason even after the match after Joe put him down or whatever. I was like, okay, so what's getting ready to happen? This feels like classic TK. That he doesn't just throw us a match like this and not have something behind it. And there was no follow-up. I was like, okay, so what the fuck we did that match for? We knew. I mean, classic of a predictable match there for sure.
Joe is back to being just a babyface now. Like, people love him. Like, the heel thing, people just love Joe.
Oh, I think that's, that went without question. Even when, he was healing it up, he's an entertaining heel and he's a believable heel. He's a guy that you wouldn't want to see coming up to you thinking that you might possibly owe him some money. So, yeah.
And let me just say this about the Winnipeg crowd. They fucking sucked. That was a bad crowd. Or they were poorly mic'd. You disagree?
I'm not saying they sucked. I just think I think that's a harsh word for a fan base that didn't feel like they were apathetic. Feels like more of the better word. They just wasn't reason for them to care, I guess.
Do you think they did it because they weren't represented?
Yeah, Jericho's on the damn show.
Yeah, but
I mean,
he wasn't talking in French Canadian.
Omega was too. They were dead during that Omega segment. No, fucking dead.
Okay, no. I think for good reason. For good reason. That shit was I was getting ready to say, yeah, I just got back from Winnipeg a few hours ago,
And boy, are your arms tired.
For good reason that segment should be dead. He came out as basically like, I damn near died. And this is what happened. If I'd have took one more bump, they ain't going to be, hyping that shit up or getting loud for that shit. A pin could drop.
I don't want to get off on I don't care that much. I'm just going to say that Winnipeg crowd sucked.
Whatever.
Jericho.
Dude, we do not need a bunch of French Canadians coming in at 636 looking for Bill.
Hey, Winnipeg.
That will be
come
hell.
Find me.
Dude, I live around the corner. Don't start this shit.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't even speak French, dog.
Fuck you, Winnipeg.
Hey,
fucking clowns.
We all want for a. Je m'appelle français.
They sucked, eh?
But Je parle un peu.
Okay, this man over here scoring major brownie points.
Too busy stuffing their fat fucking cheeks with poutine.
Jesus. Dude, talk about Mbappe. Don't be running down all of France.
Hey, Mbappe is a bad motherfucker now.
Well, I'm talking about Winnipeg. They're not in France.
I'm talking about French comedians.
We're talking about France later.
They'll appreciate him. Come on.
Man, you on one this week, boy. What's wrong with you?
Jericho and Shibata having a For the World title match. I'm back on board with Jericho. He fucking got me right back, dude.
It's son of a
He's
bitch.
really good.
I'm sitting there watching this shit.
Big
I'm
Bill.
like, yeah, here I'm waiting patiently. I'm tweeting this shit. Won't be surprised to see Big Bill come on out.
Oh, yeah. Big Bill comes out and helps him defeat Shibata. Later on Rampage, we can just jump ahead. Big Bill's backstage, and Jericho says, "You're allowed to join. You're allowed to learn under my learning tree." What do you think about that?
Dude, enough. Okay, god damn.
Enough what?
Big Bill can be fine on his own, okay?
Oh, no, this is perfect
All
for Big
he's going
Bill.
to be, Zach said it last week, he's going to be Diesel. Jericho's going to be HBK. It's so, I mean, ironically, it just so happens I'm wearing the shirt, so it just makes much more
Big
sense
Bill-
I'm saying this. Big Bill is going to be nothing but Jericho's lackey. It's not going to get him over. This does nothing but help one person, Chris Jericho.
Oh, that's what you're saying? Oh, no, I'm not worried about that. Big Bill will get over. Big Bill, he's really good in this role. And, by the way, maybe I'm not talking about as much as who's it going to get over, but I'm enjoying watching it, which is ultimately the goal, right?
Yeah, okay. This to me is just we've seen
It's
this
Goofy
before.
Jericho. Goofy Jericho is good.
Zach said it last week, tone deaf Jericho. You said it. Same thing. I get that. It doesn't resonate with me personally. Everybody else, knock yourself out.
Every time Bill says Big Bill, I think he's talking in third person. I think it's like when he's talking about Ospreay. He's like Bill Ospreay.
No, that's Little Bill. I already said this.
I'm like, he keeps saying Big Bill, and I'm like, dude, you're the same size as us.
Right, I was going to say.
Well, not
He's got to
JCB,
start
but
picking.
us.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm a little smaller. He's got to pick one or the other. It can't be just, I can interchange them both, motherfucker. Pick one, pick the other. You can't use them both.
They, Claudio Castagnoli goes out, and they give him his win back against Brian Cage. Guy that always loses. So it was a guy that always loses versus a guy that always loses, but the guy that always loses. So the guy that always loses won.
True.
It's like the guys with the least amount of chips in the poker tournament.
Watching this, people were asking about, when Swerve got jumped in the opening segment, where's Mogul Embassy? Where's Mogul Embassy? I'm like, guys, come on now. Mogul Embassy hasn't been a thing for a hot minute. Once Swerve started, breaking into Hangman's house, that's basically the end of Mogul Embassy and where Swerve and Nana really started to begin. So I get it. Could they have come out, especially with Brian Cage, on the same card, in the same house, on the same show? Yeah. Unfortunately, Mogul Embassy is probably RIP at this point because you don't see Brian Cage anywhere around Swerve anymore, and you don't see Gates of Agony anywhere around them anymore. Probably on Ring of Honor, unfortunately. Sorry, High Five Time, I love you, but that's not necessarily getting them over either. So
Rocky Romero cuts a promo about how he's done with the Best Friends. I know that the entire wrestling community was really just hanging on every fucking syllable of that promo. What's Rocky Romero gonna do? I know everybody was worried about it, waiting for the big announcement.
fuck's wrong with you, man? You want to talk about it, dude? You want to pause this shit so we can talk about it all together? I mean, goddamn.
I met Rocky Romero at a show one time.
He's
couldn't
cool
have
as
been,
fuck.
Couldn't have been nicer.
Thank you.
He was a great dude.
Thank you. Rocky Romero is casting unnecessary strays, at least in this scenario. I'm mad about what they do in the New Japan. Totally different discussion. But in this scenario, unnecessary strays. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Hey, the topic of tonight's podcast is shrapnel. Because Bill is throwing it around. He is just droning.
I like Rocky Romero.
He is droning and dropping things
Guys
everywhere.
just sitting
I
around
just
eating
can't believe they're
bowls of
spending
cereal.
Just watching the NBA playoffs, just catching one in the leg. Just making a protein shake, catching one on the shoulder.
I gotta be
taking
me.
a bite in the honeycombs. What the fuck?
Dude, he's just.
Honeycomb.
I gotta
I
go.
think Bill's turning heel.
I gotta be me. Mariah May versus Serena Deeb. Tony Storm's out there. Serena Deeb goes over. Jason, thoughts?
Actually, yes. The throwing in the
You don't
towel.
say.
Yeah. Like I don't have a thought. The throwing in the towel to me was the biggest part of the whole deal. It's once again shows vulnerability that Tony Storm didn't have for Mariah May when they first paired up, and now Mariah May has ingratiated herself enough to Tony Storm where now Tony Storm is showing babyface moments. And as we all know, baby faces ain't smart. So somewhere down the line, Mariah May is going to take advantage of this. But right now, it goes in Serena Deeb's favor. Don't you say a fucking word about TGI Friday. I see you smiling. Don't you say a fucking word about that shit. The fact that Serena Deeb got the fucking
She
tap
loved that
out.
they moved Rampage to Wednesday because she has to work every Friday shift. She has to work doubles on Fridays.
Dude, it's hard working at Sonic on roller skates.
That's not her look, though. That's not her look.
During the summer, it is.
Man, you motherfuckers ain't shit. I hope she
He
come
is
in here and roll
fucking
with me. I mean,
Applebee's.
just put the fucking ankle lock on one of you motherfuckers. I swear to God. No,
What the fuck
I
is our
would.
server's name? Selena? It's Serena. She wrestles in AEW.
Hey, everybody says that my jokes are, like, not that funny. But it's like, I'm a good guy. I donate a lot of my paycheck to charity. And when she's not there, I donate to Destiny.
It's so stupid.
See, you ain't shit, dog. See, don't encourage this motherfucker. Okay, you ain't helping. Okay.
Edge has a backstage interaction with Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly is, I guess, kind of caught staring at his title, and then just like, hey, eyes up here. But it was a babyface little. I'm sure that Kyle O'Reilly's one of those guys that Edge probably has his eye on that he wants to go wrestle. So it looks like they're going to have a program. Thoughts about this?
I said it for the Dynasty review. If you weren't paying attention, you missed a really good Kyle O'Reilly, Roddy Strong match. I would expect more of the same with Adam Copeland and Kyle O'Reilly. If there will be a TNT title match between the two. Hell, if there's not, if you just want to throw them in the ring and just, have them do a 15, 20-minute match, you can do that too. Either way, you're going to get a good match, but obviously Copeland's going to retain if it becomes a title match.
And then finally, Kenny Omega makes his long-awaited return to AEW Dynamite Television. Comes out in his hometown of Winnipeg to just a roaring ovation. Cuts a very heartfelt promo that, Omega's not necessarily known for his promos. This is probably one of the better ones that I've ever seen, at least. Talks about his diverticulitis. Talks about how, one stiff kick could, end his life. He has a time bomb in his belly, is what he says. But then what happened, Jason? Okada comes out.
So, yeah, I mean, I kind of figured that, this is where the Elite 2.0 would make their appearance, and obviously Okada comes out first, and, you have the holy shit moment, and, and I get it. This is just going to be me being a bitter New Japan fan for 30 seconds. Yeah, but I mean, damn, we seen this shit, okay? Let's just keep the holy shit into, in perspective. We're going to see round 5 here coming up in a couple months, apparently, once Kenny gets his shit right. And then, obviously, the post-match attack or whatever, not even post-match attack, but post-interview attack, that's where you have, the chair into the gut. Jack Perry comes off, getting more heat out of this. Okada's, basically directing traffic or whatever the case may be. The Bucks would come out and get a couple blows in. You carry carry Kenny off, and that bleeds into Rampage going into the next hour. Throws him down. I mean, it was basically
Are
all
you excited
heat.
for Okada? Yeah, it was basically all heat. Are you excited for Okada Omega?
I will be. I'll be lying if I said otherwise. I mean, you know, all their other matches have been very great to, you know, 5-star plus. So, I mean, it's going to be hard not to get excited about it. I would be lying if I said otherwise. Like I said, for me, just for that 30 seconds when the crowd was chanting holy shit, I'm like, come on, guys. It's, you know, this is New Japan, but a different story for a different time.
Yeah, but it's a pretty big deal for it to happen in AEW.
In the AEW ring, it's a huge fucking deal. I'm not going to sit up here and poo-poo that it is not.
I tell you what, I like a holy shit chant a lot better than I like this is awesome or you deserve it. Or you still got it chant. It's one of the good chants.
Swerve getting the you deserve it chant. It's on point. Okay.
Nah.
Yeah, no, he does deserve that shit.
Crowd should never break kayfabe.
In this scenario, I don't have a problem. One of my friends. No, you still gotta boo the heels. But in this scenario, we were talking about Swerve, and one of my friends, Mikey from Sydney, was like, you know, wasn't he like a light heavyweight or a cruiserweight? I was like, no, you know, in NXT he was wrestling for the North American title, and he was just a lot thinner. Now it looks like he's a legitimate heavyweight. He's put on the weight, and he looks like a true heavyweight champion. The Swerve that I remember in NXT, not even close to this dude we're seeing right now. It's the same moves, but he's just bulked up. He looks like a heavyweight.
Did you think that this was effective in getting heat on the Young Bucks and Jack Perry?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's doing it in
And Okada.
It's doing it in Kenny's hometown where he just came out. And like you said, that promo that he cut was reminiscent of like when Moxley came back from rehab and that heckler said some shit. And you basically you could hear a pin drop when Moxley started talking. Then the heckler said something, and then that's when you got the biggest reaction. And once again, you know, everybody was just listening to what Moxley had to say. Same thing with
what did that heckler say to Moxley?
I can't. I'm sure that Zach was one of the few people that actually said, you know, this is what the heckler said. I can't even remember.
Anyway, I thought this was really cool.
No, it was like you said. This was one of Kenny's best promos. It blended reality and kayfabe all into one little, you know, 5-minute, well done, well presented promo. And then when Okada came out, we were just getting back to business again. Now getting the heat on the Elite, more so Jack Perry than anything else, because Jack Perry's going to be the one that, you know, when you see the highlight, him hitting Kenny Omega in the stomach with the chair is going to be a repeated highlight. So
Jay White versus Dante Martin kicks off Rampage immediately after. Not much to say about this. White gets a big win.
It's a big win. Get the fuck out. Come on, man. Come on. No. You are not going to sit up here and say that a win over Dante Martin, if you're Jay White, is a big win. Fuck you. No. If you wanted to do that to get the reaction, mission accomplished, motherfucker. Okay? No, you are not going to sit up there and say that shit. No. Fuck no. Big win, my ass.
Back on the winning track.
Get the fuck out of here.
Joe Flacco style.
Goddamn, I got you so...
Fuck that, man. You know how I feel about that shit. That's some bullshit, dude.
You know, I thought the Parazzo backstage was fine. Roosh vignette was cool. Give me more Roosh. Ready for him to come back. Did he have some visa issues or something?
I'm not sure. I thought it was... He was...
or did I, dream that?
He was banged up coming towards the end of the Continental Classic. He did have, a knee or a leg issue to finish that up. Maybe he did have visa issues on top of it, but he has been gone for a hot minute. Now it feels like he's back. Now we're just starting this shit all over again.
As I always say, Roosh has the most heelish facial hair in pro wrestling today.
Ain't too
Beard
much
with no mustache.
You ain't too much lying about that shit. I mean, he is a heel, and he's a really good heel.
If he ever grew the mustache, he would look like a million other dudes that no mustache.
It sets them apart.
Can't take my eyes off.
It sets that motherfucker apart, for sure.
We talked about Bill and Jericho. Swerve. Kyle O'Reilly fights Rocky Romero. You know, I'm not okay. You know, this is fine. This is pretty good.
Okay, because that's what I'm about to say. That's it, motherfucker. That's it.
It's just one of those matches that you really. I mean, there's nothing to say about it.
No, I'm not saying that. That we gotta expand on the shit. I was just waiting for you to shit on it. And I'm surprised.
No, I'm not going to. I'm done being mean to Rocky Romero. I was pretty mean to Rocky Romero earlier. I like him quite a bit. But you know, Saraya and Harley Cameron, is that her name?
Yes.
They were backstage. It's fine. Okay.
What the fuck, dude? Now you go. No, man. Fuck that. This is the promo you need to shit on. So here's my.
I just don't pay attention to it. I just don't have any. Listen, if I don't have any expectations for it, then I can't be disappointed by it.
I'll just say
I don't have
this.
any expectations for Saraya and Harley Cameron, a person who I've maybe seen one time before this.
I'll just say this. My expectation is if Saraya is going to come in and be this star that people claim that she is, and that's primarily Zach is the one person that says that she is a star. So this is more directed towards Zach.
I didn't even realize it was a Saraya Harley Cameron promo. I looked up and I thought the Black Hole Sun video was on.
Okay, better. Much more, par for this course.
Lighter.
Yes, I do. Much more par for this course. Why is Saraya not getting this match and Harley Cameron is? If Saraya is the star, she should be having this match.
I bet she can't wrestle.
But then we need to at least say something about that and not sit up here and act like she's going to wrestle at some point.
Sky Blue fights Willow Nightingale for the 300th time in the main event of Rampage.
I like this 300th time. They got everything involved, and I think this is where both women shine, especially Sky Blue, where I don't have a lot of expectations for her. I'm not a huge fan of her in the ring or the character, but in these matches, Willow, Sky Blue, Ty Conti, Anna Jay, they all seem to step up their game. Chris Statlander all seem to step up their game when you start getting foreign objects like a barbed wire table involved. So in that scenario, I didn't have a lot of expectations for this, and it was way better than I have appreciated for. So in that scenario, this was a pretty good main event.
All right, that's going to do it for AEW for this week. Let's get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
Jason, is the third count predictions?
I would probably say that's a safe bet. There's nothing. Unless you want to talk NXT, make that the 3 count.
Oh, we can do that odds and ends.
Okay,
there wasn't that much to say about it.
There you go.
Okay, so we got predictions for NXT Backlash France. This is being aired at 11:30 a.m.
Basically noonish Central Standard Time. Good for me. Sneak this joker in before I go to work. I ain't got no problem with that shit. I like this.
Man. I love daytime wrestling.
Yeah, I'm about to say live daytime wrestling. I want to see how France reacts to having a PLE. It's going to be a worldwide affair for WWE this year, especially internationally. So, chance for France, Berlin, other cities around the world to make their mark.
It's going to be exciting.
No, for sure. I'm excited to see how France reacts to the WWE modern product.
So let's start off with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton versus the Bloodline, Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa. Zach is going to go first every single time because he sent in his picks. He took the Bloodline. Jason, who you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that. It's hard. It would be really, really hard for this Bloodline 2.0 to come out and take the L. Apparently, the rumor is Jacob Fatu is going to be on this show, maybe used here, probably used in the main event. Well, I would assume it would be the main event, but we'll figure that out here in a little bit. Jey Uso versus Damian Priest, but watch for Jacob Fatu as the big thing here, but ultimately the Bloodline has to go over. There's no reason for them not to.
Yeah, I think that we're obviously going to get a big storyline development here, but this could easily be the Stone Cold Lead Pipe Lock of the week. But I, too, am taking the Bloodline. That'll be an interesting match. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens are kind of fun together. So,
yeah, they have a pretty good dynamic that if they wanted to run with it, I wouldn't mind them running with it for a little bit.
Kabuki Warriors versus Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, who went 1-2, or they both went number 1. One of them went number 1 on SmackDown. One of them went number 1 on Raw in the draft rules that make no sense. I don't understand what a number 1 pick means.
It's the first person.
I know, but why were some of them available on
because they had a draft
why wasn't
pool.
Jade taking number 2?
Because she wasn't part of that draft pool on SmackDown.
Oh, okay. Okay, then my bad. It's cool. Zach took Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. That is who I am taking also. Them going number 1 on successive nights in the draft, that doesn't make any sense. Means that they got big plans for them. They are also the only people that can travel to and fro Raw and SmackDown. So if you have people that can be on twice a week, why wouldn't it be Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill as your tag team champs? That could be my Stone Cold Lead Pipe Block of the week also. Jason.
You saying that diatribe, any thought of the Kabuki Warriors in my head as a upset special has now been quickly extinguished. Yeah, it would be.
I made some sense, didn't I?
Yeah, you made a ton of sense. I mean, I think this is the first chapter in the Bianca Jade story. Them becoming tag team champions and then somehow, some way, them losing it and then ultimately having a singles match somewhere down the line. Step 1 is they win the tag team titles. So yeah, I got to go with the group on this and say that Jade and Bianca retain or win the titles. I'm sorry.
Up next, we have Bayley versus Trish Stratton versus Naomi in a triple threat match for the title. I thought
nigga Trish Stratton.
Did I say Trish Stratus?
Yeah.
Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah.
Bronson.
You put TS down there.
Adam Page, Diamond Dallas Page, Ethan Page, Brian Cage, Christian Cage. Anyway, okay, so
Rumble in the Jungle, Hennessy Anus.
I said that Tiffany Stratton would probably win the Money in the Bank. They are pushing her quicker than that, really. I mean, I guess she still could win it, but it surprises me that she's already in a title match. Obviously, they're very high on her. Zach needs to send in the order, but he sent in. He's picking Bayley to win. Jason, who you
got? Least to most. I'll go Tiffany Stratton least, but I think I agree with you on the Money in the Bank prediction. I think ultimately she's going to be that winner. So her, even if she took the pin, I don't think would hurt her that much. But I think she's least likely. Obviously, Naomi in the middle. I'm still waiting for some sort of reason why, she's been brought back. This is a good start, but ultimately we need a little more. But obviously, Bayley making her really her first title defense. I know she did it on SmackDown, but obviously Tiffany Stratton broke that shit up. So to me, this feels like her first title defense. Can't drop it on the first one. I got Bayley retaining.
Damian Priest versus Jey Uso for the World Championship.
Yeah, everything on Raw's World.
Zach took Damian Priest. I, too, am taking Damian Priest, although this is probably the one that I'm least confident on. Damian Priest got the win. They seem to kind of forget. Thank you. I hit the wrong button.
Right.
Damian Priest got his win. They seem to kind of forget that he was holding the Money in the Case briefcase. or Money in the Bank briefcase, and now he won it, but it might be Jay's time. That being said, I don't think that's the case. That would be the argument for it, but I'm taking Damian Priest.
This is my Stone Cold Lead Pipe Lock of the week. I'm going to take Damian Priest on this. The same theory applies for Priest that applies to Bayley. First good match out the gate, he's not going to drop the title. I'm saying he's going to hold this for a year or so. I kind of feel like I get your trepidation. This could be a transitional title reign for Damian Priest, but I don't think so. Him and Finn Balor have to cross paths at some point, right? That's the whole reason why you're going to have Judgment Day break up. So in order to get that, he's got to get past Jey Uso. Now, if that comes with some fuckery, so be it. I wouldn't be surprised to see Judgment Day try something and then, it goes south to where now Damian Priest has to, do the rest by himself. But neither here nor there. Stone Cold Lead Pipe Lock of the week. Damian Priest retains the title.
So we're all across the board, all the same. And then finally we have Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles. This is my Stone Cold Lead Pipe Lock of the week. I'm taking Cody.
I'm taking Cody.
Okay. Zach took Cody also. I am sure that they're going to add some sort of match onto here. There can't only be 5 matches, can there?
I would be highly surprised if there's 5 matches. Obviously, we got a SmackDown coming up in between.
Yeah, and Street Profits are facing A-Town Down Under. That should be on the pay-per-view.
That should be on the pay-per-view, unfortunately. That would be on SmackDown. Once again, A-Town Down Under would be my pick.
I'll tell you what really sucks is that Awesome Truth isn't defending it on this pay-per-view. I mean, they can really put on some burners, can't they?
Okay, I was getting ready to say, if you're getting ready to talk shit on Cody, you better be talking the same shit on Awesome Truth, too.
Oh,
good start. This shit's starting to fizzle, homie. This shit's starting to fizzle.
Awesome Truth. They suck, man. They're joining their matches mid-match. They're the fucking tag team champions. Awesome Truth, they suck. Take it off them now. They're terrible.
God damn, it's been a month. Jesus.
A month too fucking long, man. God, it sucks.
God damn.
I was getting ready to say I made fun of Cody earlier because I was saltier earlier, but then I started thinking about Awesome Truth. I'm like, man, fuck those guys too, man. This shit sucks.
What the fuck, man?
Give it to New Catch Republic. That's gonna do it for our 3 count.
This motherfucker here. Good God.
Speaking of main roster tag teams, New Catch Republic shows up in NXT this week. Anyway, what you want to talk about with NXT?
Trick Williams gets his victory lap. Lash Legend interrupts with some sort of envelope with has some sort of truth that Trick shouldn't want to know about. So ultimately, I think this is going to be ending up with Noam Dar being the first title defense with Trick Williams. I was thinking about
cool with that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that on the way over here. If that was to happen, Noam Dar is
Lash Legend and
underrated.
Trick Williams are fucking in real life, right?
I don't know, but there's something going on.
I'm saying I think they are.
Okay, I can kind of, if they are, I can kind of see it.
Yeah, you can tell they're fucking.
Okay, there's something.
Yeah,
if they ain't fucking,
no fucking doubt.
If they ain't fucking, they shall soon to be fucking. That motherfucker. Yeah, oh my god, damn.
There is about to be some fucking on deck.
Okay.
He is on deck.
Fucking in the on deck circle. That's fucking.
Fucking on deck is timing pitches.
Good for them. Obafemi versus Ivar, a little clunky in spots.
It was.
Obafemi is cool though.
No, it's hard to remember that this is probably like his 10th, 15th match. So, yeah, you're going to get some clunky spots. That's to be expected. Ultimately, the right guy goes over. But the big story, obviously, Wesley returning. And it's the match that I didn't think I wanted to see. And then as soon as Wesley's music hit, I was like, oh, you don't say. Oh, ruh-roh raggy. You had Trick
I'm down for a Wesley Obafemi match.
Trick and Oba crossing paths. that, in my head, should be the end game for Trick Williams dropping the title.
Natalia and Lola Vice in an NXT Underground match. Did you watch this?
Yeah, I watched it. It was fine.
Watch it. I did watch. I did watch Axiom and Nathan Fraser versus Authors of Pain. Like this match. New Catch Republic shows up. They're pissed off.
That just.
Hey, did they say that Trick Williams is the fourth black man to hold the NXT Championship? Who were the others?
Mello.
Who am I forgetting?
Shit, I was going to say.
I mean, Velveteen Dream never did he?
No.
Keith Lee? No.
Keith Lee, yeah, because that was the he beat Adam Cole, baby.
So who's the other one?
That became the they merged the titles.
Dolph Ziggler?
Braun
Breaker?
He wishes too.
We're getting closer though.
Yeah, right.
Damian Priest?
No. He's Mexican. He's Hispanic, sorry. I don't know what he is.
I cannot think of the fourth.
But anyway, I think announcing that at the beginning,
Booker T,
when Vic Joseph is like, oh, they're probably talking about women. They're probably talking about Bianca Belair.
Bianca never held the title.
No, it says fourth black man. No, they said fourth black man. Anyway, that's a weird thing to say for a show that's been on for about 8 years. It's like, well, that's pretty good. It's like he's the fourth. He's only the fourth black man to hold the NXT title. It's like, oh, yeah, okay.
So every other year?
Yeah. Like,
I don't know if that was
spice it up.
If that was a shot across the AEW bow. It was a weird.
If that's a shot across the AEW bow. You gotta go pretty fucking deep, man. That's some petty shit.
Are we not saying that WWE is above pettiness?
I'm saying Vic Joseph might be.
It was a weird stat to bring out. It did make me think about it. I still can't think of who the fourth black man to hold the NXT title is. It's going to bother me for a little bit, but it was weird. I would.
Ricochet never did.
No. Like I said,
who the fuck is it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This will bother me for a little bit until I Google the shit. But
are they talking about like Brodus Clay?
Nigga,
I'm serious.
There was nobody that was even, Ricochet would have been the closest motherfucker. That would have been someone that looked like Brodus Clay.
Brodus Clay might have been NXT champion. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, we going like back. Okay, well then.
Well, that's what might not. If we can't think of it, I bet it is somebody that far back.
Wow.
We'll look it up. We'll tell you next week, folks.
Yeah, because I was getting ready to say this is getting ready to bother the fuck out of me.
Anything else you want to say about NXT?
Not particularly. The tag team title match kind of bothered me a little bit. We talked about the main event. We talked about Trick.
It's Big E Langston.
That's right. Big E was. Yeah, I do remember that.
Wait, so Keith Lee did hold it. It didn't say it on this list, though.
Keith Lee won a unified match when he was the North American title holder, and Adam Cole, baby, was the NXT champion. They did it on regular TV.
All right.
Thank God. Thank you, Bo. Shit.
Hey, everybody. We got some birthdays this week. We got a lot of birthdays this week, actually. So get ready. Big Boss Man.
I think he's R.I.P. Yeah.
Would have been 61. The Rock is 52. Stu Hart, R.I.P. would have been 109. Mr. Fuji.
This motherfucker. Would have been 109.
Rough living. They'll get you every time.
Right.
Not everybody makes it. Mr. Fuji would have been 89, R.I.P. Orange Cassidy is 40.
Wow.
Brooke Hogan, 36.
you know she's talking to JCB instead of me.
No. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Brian Knobs, not going to make the joke. here that I want to is 60.
Say your prayers.
You think Hulk Hogan's ever banged Brian Knobs' wife?
I would say
Because he banged Bubba the Love Sponge's
I would
wife.
say yes.
And him and Brian Knobs are tight, too.
Yeah, I would say yes.
Cole Cabana, my age, 44. Dakota Kai is 36. Piper Niven is 33. Owen Hart, R.I.P., would have been 59. Tangaloa, 41. Kevin Owens, 40. Happy birthday, K.O. Will Ospreay is 31. Tommaso Ciampa is 39. And Io Sky is 34. I told you it was a loaded week of birthdays.
Bullet Club as well. I was going to say, dude, I got to throw them in there.
Us tourists got to stick together.
Did you have a happy birthday, Bo?
I had a good time.
That's what's up.
We had
Good.
some fun, had some pizza. I worked.
Well, for the birthday boy, Bo, that's tough.
Check.
For Tender Mahal,
Check.
for Patriot Pat, for
Check.
Lucha Chris,
Check.
for Murray the Murray Man Murray,
Check.
for Brett Jagger,
Check.
For Vice, I already said him, but
Check.
for Two Beer
Check.
Zach Pullman,
Check.
for Jason Cornelius Bell.
Konnichiwa, bitches.
I am Bill Vagey. We'll
Check.
see you next week, Zach.
Check.
Support your local weed dealers, support
Check.
your local restaurants,
Check.
Black Lives
Check.
Matter, call your parents,
Check.
and boo the heels.
Boo, bitch.